another choice. You could get wrapped up in your head and, what's going on in here? Right? You can live in your head or you can live in your heart. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. This idea of the blessed life. The blessed life. What does it mean to live the blessed life? Well, there's a scripture in James 1:25. It says, but one who looks intently at the perfect law, the law of liberty, literally the law of love, and abides by it, not having become a forgetful hearer, but an effectual doer, this man, woman, will be blessed in what they do. Right? How many would like to be blessed in whatever that you do? Then you have to look and, yes, thank you. We have one here. No. Oh, two, there you go. Everybody else say, the law of liberty, which is the law of love. When you operate your life out of loving kindness, then life gets better. Because how many know, until you get the revelation of divine love and gratitude, you haven't started to live yet. Say it with me. Oh. You haven't begun. Because most people are stuck where? In fear and insecurity, jealousy, envy. The lower. How many understand, we've talked about before, the book of Revelation talked about the 7 seals need to be opened up. And the 7 seals are the 7 sinners in the physical body, or the 7 chakras. And the lower ones, the first chakra, is this idea of survival, right? And making it, getting your needs met, being taken care of. Having your food, having a place to live, those kinds of things. It's all about survival. But that's just the first step in the ladder of consciousness, right? Many people are still stuck there, unfortunately. Stuck in survival mode. They live their whole life thinking, well, I'm just trying to make it, if I can just make it. And then there's the second chakra. And that's where you become aware of other people around you. You become aware that there's other people out there. And what can I get from you? What can you do for me? And that's that second rung of the ladder. And then there's the third rung, which is the community. Not just you and your person that's stuck in, the house together. That's living in the house together. It's all perception, right? One person thinks they're in prison, another person thinks, man, I'm just as free as I can be, right? Because I'm here because I choose to be here. Ooh. I'm not here because I have to be, because I signed a little piece of paper. That's not the reason. I'm here because in my heart, this is where I'm supposed to be. Does that make sense? That's why we're in community. That's why we're in relationships with each other. If I could learn that English language, that would be great. I'm still learning. In Unity, we're all students, right? We're always a student. There's so much more to learn. There's so much more to expand into. But what I want to say this morning is that most people are stuck in the fear-based lower sinners of life. Just trying to be okay. If I could just be okay. Can you tell me how I can be okay? When you get up in the morning, put your clothes on, you look at your significant other and you say, do I look okay? Right? We ask our teachers, did I do my homework okay? Right? We ask our people that we work for, am I doing my job okay? And we're always seeking approval because we're so afraid that we're not okay. Right? There's a new book coming out. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's I'm not okay, you're not okay, but that's okay. Most people are stuck in the lower instinctual, animalistic nature. I mean, what does your cat think about? Right? Survival. Isn't it true? Yeah. I know. We've got a big cat and a little cat. And the little cat, she's over 16 years old now, and she's kind of, she's got her walker and her cane, and she's just kind of fragile. And the big cat, he's young and he's vibrant, and so he's kind of picking on her, And so he kind of gets on the out with us. And so the other day, I'm sitting at my desk. This was just yesterday. And he jumps up on the desk. And he lays there on his back. When they open, their belly, they're saying, hey, I trust you. I love you. And look at me with those big green eyes. And so I start petting him. And he just melts, And then when I stand up, he jumps up and runs to his food bowl. You know what I mean? So I know what he's thinking. I gotta be good, because this is my ticket, my meal ticket. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, a lot of people are stuck in that same space, and they never ever go beyond those lower feelings of not being okay. I'm not okay, and I need you to tell me that I'm okay. Okay? Right? But there is another immersion or baptism. See, we do believe in baptism in this church, and I believe that you need to go all the way under. All right? And Jesus said it's the baptism of Christ, or the baptism of the Spirit. What was he saying? What is God? God is love. Agape, which is the highest kind of perspective. It's the highest state of being that you can experience. And so you got to move up the ladder out of that third. And a lot of people, they do. They step to the fourth chakra, which is the heart, which is love. And at that point, they begin to experience some awakenings, and they begin to experience what it feels like to be loved. How many know that when you feel loved, there is nothing else like it? Right? When you feel loved. Now, the problem with that is it's very difficult to get everybody to love you like you want to be loved. Isn't it true? Because I have requirements. I have expectations. Say it with me. Expectations. I expect it this way. And if I don't get it this way, we're going down to the lower chakras. Insecurity. Fear. Right? Make sense? And so we have these little awakenings, and we start, feeling, wow, this is wonderful. And it takes you out of that lower self. Right? It takes you out of those instinctual feelings, and it takes you into more of the Christ nature, where you're no longer thinking so much about yourself. Most people are obsessed about themselves. Isn't it true? Right? We're concerned about how we look. We're concerned about what people think about us. We're concerned about, everything. And that is a block to love's presence. It's a block. It keeps you from feeling that total acceptance. There is a state of being that moves beyond having to have somebody else tell you that you're okay. There is an okay where you're always okay. So it doesn't matter what you think about me. I'm still going to be okay. Make sense? Right? And here's what I've discovered. When I take away all those expectations, instead of expecting people, you got to kiss me a certain way, you got to hug me a certain way, you know what I mean? The meals have to be done just this way. See, a lot of people are into possessive love. It sure feels good. I'm going to hang on to this. And I'm going to control this love. You can't control it. It ebbs and it flows. It just goes. Right? It just is. Love just is. It just is. You see what I'm saying? So we're always thinking about ourselves. Am I right? Am I wrong? And once you can get beyond right and wrong, there's a place outside of that. And that's where I want to invite you this morning. Where you don't have to be right. You don't have to be wrong. You can just be. But James, that's very hard to do. I know. That's why you don't do it. You become it. Okay? That sounds very, what do you mean by ethereal? Like, what does that mean? Be it. Well, it's all a divine gift. Life is a gift. You see what I'm saying? See, I didn't pick out my nose. Did you? Now, we could talk about on other levels how things are, but I'm not talking about that right now. I'm just talking about you right here, right now. Okay? You have what you have. You are who you are. And once you accept that, and you're okay with that, and you just let that be what it is, life begins to change. And you begin to discover that there's another state of being other than fearfulness, insecurity, jealousy. Right? I don't have to be jealous of you because I got it. There's nothing I need. Say that with me. There's nothing I really need. I mean, how many cell phones do you need? How many devices do you have to have? Right? And Steve's not in here, but, we're always joking because he brought in another new guitar, today. So I like joking with him. But see, that's a sickness. That's a different thing. So. Well, it's like some people collect cars. But here's the thing about that. If you love something beyond your own lower instinctual nature, you have entered into love. I don't care if it's a car or a cat or a dog or the sunshine or whatever it is. When you begin to love something beyond this stuff, then you are opening up to something greater. And you are moving into where you need to be, where you really want to be, which is unconditional life, where everything is possible. But see, as long as you're in fear, what are you going to do? You're going to create situations that are fearful or full of fear. Right? As long as I have insecurity, then I'm going to get circumstances that are going to cause me to be insecure. Make sense to anybody? Right? But once I can let all of that go, and I'm not saying you can do it by tomorrow, maybe by Tuesday, but not by no. It's part of what this spiritual life is really all about. It's walking the steps of the ladder of consciousness. Because once you get into love, then you're just beginning, right? Because it gets better from there. it gets better. Because then you see that all of life is a gift. When I look at a waterfall, why is that waterfall there? So I can look at it. You see what I'm saying? So I can connect with it. So I can feel the energy of it. Why is the sunshine there? It's there for you. Right? Everything is a gift. It's all grace. Every good and blessed thing you have in your life was given to you. And when you move into that state of appreciation and gratitude, it's like, oh my goodness. Wow. I am so blessed. So blessed. You know? There's so much good, but yet in that lower instinctual, I'm afraid of you. You might hurt me. You might do something. But when I can be in that state, and it doesn't mean that you're always trouble-free, because sometimes little ripples come in the water, Sometimes a little rain comes. And not here, of course, but no, I'm just kidding. I was listening to something that somebody was talking about what's going on with the weather, and they said, there are some plants and there are some trees that can't even release their seeds until they have fire. Isn't that something? See, fire is Mother Nature's way of cleansing away the debris, the limbs and the trees and so forth, cutting it out so then the new can begin to grow. Right? And so Mother Nature's got it all in control. But Mother Nature doesn't act in the way that we think as beings of duality how it should be. Well, that can't be right. That's not right. How many know it just is? It's the way it gets done. Sometimes you got to have the wind to blow away all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? All of it is necessary. All of it is a part of the cycle. It's the part of life. Does that make sense? And once you can come into agreement with it, and just say, okay, it is what it is. And be okay with it instead of fighting it, There's always people looking for a fight. You know what I mean? Well, I'm here to straighten you out. Because I know you're doing it wrong. Because I do it right. And you don't. You see what I'm saying? How many know there's a state beyond that? There's a place beyond that. There's a love that is beyond that. And I'm not talking about a mamby-pamby love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, James, you're talking about love. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a strong, vibrant, radiating center full of life, full of vigor and vitality. Yeah. Passionate, excited, but not attached to everything. Not attached. I read, there was a book. I'd never read the book. I just read the title of the book, and that's all I needed. It says, what you think of me is none of my business. Right? And that's all I needed to know. I saw that and go, oh yeah. What you think of me is none of my business. Now, a few years ago, we had a particular board, and they told me, they said, James, we just want you to be who you are. Just be who you are. We like that. I said, well, thank you. That was nice. That was good. But you can't operate under pressure 24 hours a day, right? You can't operate under this gun that we have to our heads that says you must be a certain way. You must be this way or that way, right? I just got to be me. You just got to be you, right? And that's what love says. Love says just be you. I'll do me, you do you. Make sense? Yeah. Yeah. That feels good, doesn't it? Now, but here's the thing. When people start doing them, wait a minute. I don't know about that. And then the critical mind and the judgmental mind steps in there. We begin to analyze and scrutinize. Yeah. And we start judging. It's amazing how we're taught at an early age to judge people. Right? I remember my mother, telling me, your hair, you got to comb your hair. And I have this curly hair. It's hard to, I've always had a bouffant. Yeah. It just, I had this big, and Leah's got a picture of me somewhere where I'm leaning up against the wall and I look like Mink or Lynx from the Mod Squad. For those of you that know what that is. And I was just so cool. At the time, it was the thing. Isn't it amazing how every generation has their thing that they do that's and now it's, shaven and mohawks or whatever. Yeah. And that's okay. How many understand? It's okay to do your styling, right? Whatever your styling is, you just be you. Because, see, God created this world with all kinds of flavors and all kinds of things. I mean, there's some creepy bugs out there that I don't even know what they are. To me, when I get the heebie-jeebies when I see them, ooh, what's that? They have all these legs and the antennas and, like, what is that for? But they serve a purpose, right? I don't get it. The divine mind, they created them, I mean, what's cockroaches? I mean, what's that all about? Fleas. Ticks. Why are there ticks? Why are there all this stuff? And you go, what's... See, you just don't... But you know that the big picture is, it's all doing what it's supposed to... There's a reason for all of it. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why people act the way they act. There's certain personalities that do what they do, and you go, oh, yikes. And there's some people that are always uncertain. You never know what they're going to do from one moment to the next. And so that's when you have to be okay with you. That's when you just have to let them be. Now, I believe that we need to speak up for each other, right? The Bible says, love your neighbor. If somebody's tormenting your neighbor, then maybe you should do something about it. Make sense? Stand up and speak up and do what you need to do. I believe in that. I believe that that's very important. That comes out of love. Remember the Good Samaritan in the Bible? Well, the Samaritans were people who were not appreciated by the Jews. They considered them a lower class people. And Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan and how this priest came by and walked on by. This poor guy had been beaten up on the side of the road. And all these people went by him, these highfalutin spiritual types. And then some guy walks by and he just helps him. And then he is accused of being the bad guy for helping the person that was beat up. Right? And so people are acting and reacting many times out of fear. We live in a world, we live in a country where there's a lot of fear. And so we need to move beyond that ourselves. I can't do anything about your fear, but I sure can do something about my fear. Right? And not live in it, not buy into it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so whatever happens, say with me, I'm going to be okay. Yeah. Because love is taking care of us. Do you see that? God is love. Love is taking care of you. Love's presence. And oh, when you see it, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Let's close our eyes. Take in a good breath. And let us open up now. Luke 6:38 says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Once you move beyond yourself and you begin to give the gifts that you have, you don't give them just so you get something. You give because that's who you are. You are love's expression. You are the presence of love in physical form. That's who you really are. So my prayer today is that each and every one of us would be baptized in the sacred presence of divine love. That all of us would find our gifts and use our talents, use our voice, use our minds, use our bodies to bring healing, health, help, strength, wholeness, and wellness to the people around us. And so we are so grateful and so thankful for this, another Thanksgiving that we get to share together. We say, thank you, God, and so be it. All right.